We are live. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of So What Now What. I am here tonight to help you guys answer the question, so what? My body is in pain. I can't lose weight. I'm doing everything I can. Something's not working. I don't understand what's going on with my body. And tonight we have the now what in the flavor of Brian Bradley from the Egosgue method. So Brian, welcome to my call.
How are you?
Hopefully you're popular enough to get people watching. Oh, you are. Look at that.
Look, let me explain it this way. I don't care how many people watch. The 1 or 2 people that do, and your daughter in the background, are going to learn.
Yeah.
People, they have to get up and make choices. Am I willing to learn what I don't know? Am I willing to hear it again? And a lot of people have said to me, Brian, when you do a talk, you do a lot of the same discussion. I'm like, yeah, because it takes 6 times for it to sink in, because people don't want to believe that something can be that easy. And it really is that easy.
Well, I want to tell you, Jason and I have been doing our exercises before bed every night. And we've been like all the things you taught us the other night when we were on Tony Rodriguez's Get Up and Grow. We've been doing it. And I don't know if it's working. I don't know what's working, but I'm going to do it because I believe in this process. And how many times have you yelled at me to do my exercises from the events?
1,000 times. But one of the reasons why you don't know if it's working and you think that it's working, by the way, that's the placebo effect. I'm a huge fan of it. I brush my teeth and go, well, they told me this stuff at Florida, and I guess it must be good. But what you focus on expands. So I love the thought process, but let's talk physiologically of what really is happening.
Do you want to explain, first of all, who the hell you are and what this is first, and then get into it? Because there's a lot of people that are meeting you for the first time.
That's who we are.
Okay.
Egosgue, I hooked up with him 30 years ago.
Yep.
And this year, and we are all about someone living pain-free. So yes. I'll bring this back out again.
Okay.
I usually give this book away to whoever asked the dumbest question, but I started running out of books sometimes. So the reason why I say this is that we focus mainly on posture, pain, performance. So for example, let's start this phone call with a picture of an NFL quarterback. Where is he? Where is he? Try to get away from me. Nope. There we go. Okay. So there's a picture of an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
Vina will like that one because it's her quarterback.
Oh.
What do you see? Other than nothing but hotness. I get it.
Well, wait, let me put my glasses on for this one. Well, I see he's like doing something with the sledgehammer.
He's going to slam it.
He's doing he's going to slam that thing.
Correct. But the carry angle of his shoulders.
Oh, his shoulders are weird.
It's not even that they're weird, because it's just natural, especially when you start fatiguing, you start going that direction. My job is to give him a way out of this so he can live up to his franchise's label that they're going to give him, which is Messiah. And this kid is mentally, he is going, I am all about team. I'm going to work my butt off this summer because that's his work ethic. He's a beast. The same thing that we talked about in San Jose or at any other events when people say, well, Tony Robbins worked with Conor McGregor, and I heard you got to. And I said, yeah, I did. One of the smartest athletes I've ever seen. Because the minute I told him what was going to happen, it did happen. He walked back and he looked at me and goes, you're right. And I said, well, I don't want to be right. This has to be your idea, not me saying I know and you don't. I can't stand that line of thinking. Doesn't work at home with your kids. Why the hell would you bring it into your business? So what I can tell you is he came out and said, my foot strike is so much different. Now what? Which ties right into what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now what? Well, what do you mean now what? He goes, looks like to me I'm going to have to redo my whole workout. Looks like to me I'm going to have to do these things before I throw a punch. And I went, meeting adjourned. Are you kidding?
Yep, I'm done.
I looked at 20 people and went, this is too easy. He starts laughing. He goes, man, I can't wait to put this into play. And then he put it into play, and 12 days later, he destroyed his opponent in 40 some seconds. And everybody goes, well, maybe Cowboy wasn't ready. Cowboy wasn't ready for what hit him.
Right.
That's the problem.
Okay.
That's the problem. So everybody listening to this, male, female, kid, I don't care. If you want to get to the next level, and I told you I'm in one of those moods right now.
Bring it.
If you
We
want
can take it.
Because you want to get to the next level, not if you want to get to the next level, then stop fucking around. Like, you have to seriously look at the stuff that I've done with the method with you guys. When I say it's the method, introducing it to you guys for the last 10 years, and you saying, well, it took COVID-19 for me to finally do my exercises every day. It's sometimes tough to do them by yourself. So when your partners get involved, it's a freaking game changer.
Yeah.
And then you start going, wow, I couldn't do that. Wow, I could do that. Wonder what our kids can do. And then you start empowering a 10-year-old that says, why is doing bear crawls much easier for me than it is for you? Hey, I just beat an adult. Boom. She starts thinking, I'm not going to let somebody tell me that I'm never enough. I'm not going to let some guy treat me this way. Like, I'm not just giving you posture relief and how do I get relief for my foot, back, knee, hip, and all that. That's the icing on the cake.
Yeah. What's
underneath this is way below the tip of the iceberg, and where everything from a wellness standpoint starts to talk, which you and I will talk a little bit later about, hip function, lymphatic system, and all that.
Well, and I think even with my daughter, Gia, she's a nationally ranked acro. She's a top of a trio, and she gets thrown in the air, and she lands hard sometimes. And she had some hip pain for a while, went to a chiropractor, and her hip was out of alignment. And the one thing that I want to prevent with her, and there's probably other moms of the girls on this team on this call right now, is these girls their bodies are, what they're doing with their bodies right now, I imagine is going to affect them into their life. The stress they're putting on their bodies, whether they're stretching properly, whether they're engaging properly.
In a negative way or in a positive way?
Negative way.
Okay.
Just because partially because the way that the flexibility and the way that they move and the way that they stretch and the things they do, I can't even imagine that, doing that myself. So, I'm watching this. Oh, here she is. Come on over, honey. I'm watching the stuff that they're doing with her and wondering, like, is that, how can I, as her mom, make sure what she's doing with her body is going to be, I want to keep her safe, but she's got to do what she's got to do to be the athlete she is. Hey, Gia, this is Brian. Brian, this is Gia.
Gia, how did you know that camo was my favorite color?
You got to talk, honey.
Yeah.
I
guessed?
She guessed.
I like it. I want you to think about this. The more this young girl can play like a kid, then she will give herself the unfair advantage. So when you said, yeah, this stuff might be bad for her in the acro world, I think it's the opposite.
Well, not bad for her, but just to make sure we're being smart about her body.
Or it doesn't hurt her in the long run. I get it.
Yeah.
Very smart. My kid was in track because everybody said, my gosh, she's so fast after, the stuff that I'll show you. And I said, well, that's great. I didn't realize that unknowingly to me and unconsciously probably to them, they were taking advantage of my commodity kid because he can bigger, faster, stronger than everybody. Let's just use him. They weren't trying to hurt him, but with his stuff that he had going on in his knee before we did stem cells, he would run and run and run, and then all of a sudden it failed. And he was getting a little slower. And he's like, wow, I'm getting slower and my knee hurts. Well, what happened was this was overridden. And I've shown this to you guys before. That's an elite little soccer team, 14 years old. Gia, they're all way too old for you, so don't even think about it. But if you look at his little build right here, compared to this kid, they're at the same age and at the same level play, but one is built like an athlete. The other one is a soccer player. And don't get me wrong, soccer players are athletes. But here it is running, and I've shown you guys this before, but it's because I was training this kid before he even knew that I was training him. So there he is running. You've seen this before.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the back. and that's a 200-meter run, and he wins by 40 meters. Now, if you're looking for a way to take care of your kids, then get them to the playground. Now, not right now because the surfaces are bad, whatever.
Well, the challenge I think that they have is they practice so often that they're, the time that they have is not to play is not necessarily all that there. And then they're not supposed to play sometimes.
Can't get hurt.
Can't get hurt.
We're down a rabbit hole right now that's just going to piss me off. So we better.
All right, let's not do that. Okay.
Because these kids they're not commodities. You have one job in life. You have one job in life as a parent, and that's to protect your kid.
Yeah.
If we fail at that, we're in trouble. And you have great kids, sweetheart, so you're being protected. I get it.
Pull up a video of your double, just so we can show people what we're talking about. So one of the things that you mentioned that you wanted to talk about, and I heard you talk about this in a call that you posted, when you said that if you think cardio is going to be what makes you lose fat, you got to get your lymph systems and all that alignment before you do any of that stuff. Like, talk a little bit about that, because I was like, what is this I know we were eavesdropping on a conversation, obviously, but I want to know a little bit about what you were talking about, because a lot of people, a lot of people want to lose weight and they're working really hard and they're not getting the results. And I think that there's answers that they don't know.
This was a guy from the UK, wants to be an athlete again, has some digestive issues, and said, I'd love to lose weight. I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I do my cardio every day, and so I just let it go. And I said, well, how's that working for you eventually? He goes, well, I do my cardio every day. And I said, okay, come back to me. I need you to listen. Well, let's have everybody who's on here think this. If you're doing cardio 3 days a week, 8 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever it is, and you're happy with the results, you can tune out right now. But because I know 95 to 99% of you are not happy with your results, or you're having to work so hard to get your results that it's hurting your system, then you're just like my NFL quarterback whose talent was writing checks that his body couldn't cash. Let's see, think about that again. Talent is writing a check that the body can't cash. You have one machine, and it's from here down. And if you want to lose your butt, let's make that number one. I'm going to lose my butt.
Or have a butt that is made up of things that are good, not bad.
It doesn't come from not eating pizza. Because I promise you that if I gave you a full pizza, I promise you this. If you ate an 8-piece pizza every day for a month, but you ate one piece of pizza every 2 hours with a glass of water, that's 16 hours of eating, but you're eating in smaller amounts. So what you could do is not really worry about what you're putting in. Look at the amount you're putting in. Then you can get into the quality of food. But start looking at the amount and how often. That's all I'm going to give you on nutrition.
Okay.
From the standpoint of losing weight, if you get proper heel strike when you walk, center, then your lymphatic system will pay you back. So I've done this before with people. So if you're sitting down watching this, and I want you to write down the word. We've done this before. Write the word fat, F-A-T.
F-A-T, okay.
Remember, you're the customer, right? How'd that feel to write it down? If you put yourself in, I'm a female, I've been working out, I'm eating less, I'm doing more workouts, I'm doing whatever the magazines tell me. That's why I labeled that thing, I'm so sick of the tabloids. Because I grew up with 3 sisters and a mother, and they're being lied to. Work out harder, eat less. Because you're going about it wrong. You're going about it with the wrong alignment, which means the same analogy as CrossFit hurt me. CrossFit never hurt you. You walked into CrossFit with the wrong alignment in your body. Didn't hurt everybody else. What are you, special? No. Let's change the body when you're going in there. I told you I was in a mood, so you're getting it.
It's all good. We love it.
When you're looking at the word fat, go to how it felt.
Something I don't want to be.
Okay. Now put yourself into somebody who's 220, 5'6", and can't look at a buffet without going up 3 or 4 times, knowing that people are watching her. What's that word feel like to write it down? You just gave it just now. You just did it. You went,
yeah. It sucks. I mean, it's embarrassing. Maybe it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. It's controlling, and nobody wants to be controlled. But if you write that word down, what's that feel like?
Badass.
And you put those words around it, that's really what it is.
Badass.
Now let me explain to you what that means. You have a sewage system in general in your body, and it drains and moves up and down in cycles. And it comes up into veins that basically drop back down into the heart and all these things. When your shoulders are here, and they're rounded forward on a daily basis, we're on phones more going, who's going to die?
Yeah, I worry about my kids like this all the time. Like, what's that doing to their...
Exactly. It's not going anywhere. It's going to get worse. So what we need to do is treat the cell phone as a sport, and let's train for it. I'm not telling you not to do this. I'm not telling you not to worry. I'm not telling, because, okay, don't picture the purple elephant. Everybody just did. Okay, great. Well, instead, let's embrace this thing.
Oops, someone's calling. Goodbye.
I just like that. That's like it's a perfect timing. Ideally, if you want to shrink your butt, move your lymph system. Hey, Brian, how do I move my lymph? By getting your foot strike to correct itself. Hey, Brian, how do I get my foot strike to correct itself? By changing the rest of the way that the body aligns with it.
Do you want to show some people some stuff?
Yeah, we're going to do that. How long do you want this call to go?
As long as you got goods to give.
Well, no, come on. I mean,
an hour at the most.
Sure. Yeah, we're only 18 minutes in.
Yeah, it's
in an hour, we'd save the world. Okay, look.
Let's do it.
These are things that I talked about the other day, and I'm sorry because I literally ran out of new paper.
You have toilet paper you can write on?
This is my toilet paper.
Hey, if you guys have questions, put them in the comments, and Brian will be happy to answer them. You know, this is the time to ask.
It really is. And we focus on a lot of things at the method. And to talk to Pete Egosgue, it's a freaking game changer because 75 years young, Vietnam-based, Marine Corps major, got out, flipped the guy's desk over, said, nope, it's not in my head. It is my left side. Started picking up Grey's Anatomy. The method was born in 1971. I hooked up with him 20 years later, after he was out there doing a lot of stuff on his own, and said, this answers every question that I've ever had about why the books don't seem right to me. So, for example, if someone wants to lose weight around their hips, can they do more butt blasters and lateral hip and more abduction machines in the gym and lose the weight around the hip? The answer is no, because you can't spot reduce. That is proven. It's in the books. It's blah, blah, blah. I disagree. Because why are you spot gaining then? So somebody who loses 50 pounds didn't lose an ounce of anything around here, but their breasts are smaller, their chin is not so puffy, and their triceps aren't hanging the way they used to when they were, quote, fatter. But why isn't this stubborn area coming along? When in general, it's supposed to be able to pull fat evenly around the system. Well, the problem is that when it's pulling fat around the system, that means your body is like this blue person who's perfectly aligned. Now, is perfect attainable? I don't care. How about a version of perfect? That's all we're looking for. So, yeah, me at 52 in June. I'll let you know what size my clothing is when you go to Lulu. But it's a 52.
I'm a June birthday too. We'll just go together. How about that? June what?
22.
I'm June 6th. So. Oh, and she's 11, so we're all three going.
There we go. So when you look at this kind of stuff, we try to get you to be the blue person versus the red person. And when you look in the mirror right now, or have someone take a picture of you on your iPhone, or set up your iPhone yourself and put it on auto. Get the least amount of clothing as possible for you to feel comfortable. Take the picture, get rid of self-judgment, and look at it from a structural. Where are my hips? Where are my knees? Where are my feet? Where is the blue versus the red going forward into the sway back posture? So, for example, an example of this is this guy being 58 years young, and here he is in a before and after. He's a platinum partner.
Yeah.
And that was after like 38 minutes of his first visit. Thank God he has a because that nobody believes it's the right person. Here's a guy who owns a CrossFit company in like the Netherlands, came to us with chronic back pain and said, I'm in fear of losing my CrossFit facility. Okay. This hanging test is something that we can all try here in a little bit.
Okay.
And where is the movement coming from? So look at the red, and you'll notice how he's bending at his back and his pelvis really hasn't moved, versus in the green, the pelvis actually ratcheted down more and flattened out his spine and took him to the floor.
Wow.
And guys, this is not a flexibility test. I don't care to stretch you out. I care to reposition your pelvis. I've said this on 7 podcasts in the last 10 days. It's like a broken record, but it's a different audience, so I don't care. I'm looking at going, you have to become a hip-driven athlete, or the effort that you're putting in is being met with a wall, which is why your results are only maybe 30% of what you'd actually like.
Yeah.
So you remember the old commercials, stop the insanity, stop the insanity.
Yeah.
It's true. Waking up on a different day, expecting a different result, and getting the same result, and then thinking tomorrow's going to be any different because you haven't changed anything, that's crazy.
Right.
I think you can work yourself less, breathe yourself out of back pain. 22,000 breaths per day, taken in the north-south way. When fear kicks in, when COVID kicks in, we all go to the shallow breathing. When shallow breathing is what's going to kill us. We need your diaphragm, which sits right here, to kick in and reverse that curve like an umbrella that reverses itself like this. 2, 3, 4, 22,000. Those numbers of breaths, think about that. Breathing correctly 22,000 times a day. It's a game changer. But Brian, how do I breathe better? Well, as we move on through this, I'm going to take you guys through some stuff as a group for you to realize it.
Okay. So what do you, I'm still learning this thing, so I apologize. What do you find, like, especially with women, like moms, who are not really taking, doing self-care enough, what do you notice that they're dealing with the most?
What do you mean? Because are you talking about some of the people that are maybe you're coaching? Give me an idea of who you're coaching. Give me an example.
I mean, we're doing this 100 squat challenge, and I bet 99% of us are doing it wrong.
I'd say it's 101%.
Well, I know that I am. So, I mean, those, and most of them are not all of them are women, but most of us are, and we're moms and we're busy and everybody's crazy right now. So, how can we do the things that we're squeezing into our lives, do it better? Like, how can we?
It's a great question, especially since you have a tangible item tied to it. The squat test, I'm having them doing 100, blah, blah, blah. And we're keeping everybody accountable.
Right.
Well, this same guy in CrossFit, I asked him to show me his squat and look at the one versus the other.
Yeah, the first one's me. That's how
I'm asking this guy to put the bar behind his neck and look where his hands are.
They're over his.
They're going to go through his ear.
Yeah.
Because he's so locked up in his mid back, like bra line area.
Right.
That area doesn't do this. How is your pelvis ever going to become the hinge movement, which then allows you to drop staying vertical instead of dropping like this? Like that 100 squat challenge you're doing, man, are you making people's backs much stronger.
Oh, thanks.
At the same time, making them weaker because you're shutting down the hips. And it's not you doing it. It's their inability to do the squat correctly. That'll be our focus from here on out.
Well, and I think also, people want to do as many in a row as they can, or they're wondering like, you can maybe do 50 mini squats, but are these squats even doing anything for you, like the way that we're doing them?
Well, what's your goal? What's the goal of the squat? Like, what are you looking for?
I think the goal is just to be stronger, to be able to do more in a row, to be able to do 100 without stopping.
Be better conditioned.
Yeah.
So those are 2 and 3, which takes us back to number 1, which is what? So we look better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So our butts look better.
Let's not kid ourselves. It's just us girls.
I mean, it's just us girls, and we're working on our summer bodies if we ever get out of our houses.
It's true, but you'll have so much time on your hand, you'll never lay in so much sun. You'll be so dark by the time July hits.
Oh, I'm so excited about it, but sunscreen first.
No, I love the vitamin D. The increase in vitamin D will do us some good. Look, the squat itself. When somebody says, I'm going to squat, and they are in this position, and they say, all I want to do is this.
Yeah.
Did my hip move? Yeah. My hip and my knee moved. But my back went more parallel versus being in a position where you can go, okay, I'm going to stay in this position where I can squat down, stay vertical. And if I want, I can go lower.
That's my dream come true right there.
That little bit of an arch right there is the game changer until you reach a point right here where it's called the wink. Your pelvis winks under, and then it goes to flexion. If I'm way down here and I'm cooking like in a hibachi or something.
Yeah, can't do that.
I
mean, a couple of years ago, I was working with a personal trainer, and he just looked at me. He's like, "You are not a squatter. You can't. We're going to have to find other ways to do this for you because you're not like my posterior chain was so tight. I can't unless I can squat with heels on. I'll do."
Yeah, because it lifted you up. Okay, yeah. That is one. If a person wants instant success, they could put a little 1-inch book under their heels, and they'll squat down more vertical. And maybe that's just an accommodation for what we do now to stay in the challenge.
Yeah.
Does that solve the problem?
I don't. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know that it's training the muscle. I mean, I don't know.
Sorry. Is it solving the problem as to why you couldn't squat in the first place? The answer is no. Correct. So why don't we do both? Let's give them a win. Hey, go to some pumps and let's see if it makes a difference. Go up to 2 inches if that's where you want to go. Hey, mama's vertical. Woo! Okay.
Gia, go get a pair of heels for me.
Somebody else is going to blame this on the ankle when the ankle, being such a complex joint, is amazingly beautiful when you can get the knee and the hip and the spine and the shoulder to accommodate the same movement. The reason why I go down there is not because I do stuff with my ankle. It's because my ankle's in play all day long, normal heel strike. If you really want to understand where the butt is going to tone up, start walking correctly. Here's how you do this. Just take your hand, put it into the middle of your butt cheek and kind of dig into the muscle there a little bit higher, right above the bone, and right into the, if this is like real low, you want to go like right up in here.
Okay, I'm going to turn my computer and be able to stand up here.
Every time that your foot hits the ground there where the leg goes ahead of you, just do this. Like, so move your hand to the right a little bit. And now dig in there, right? You really want to get into that muscle. Now take a step forward and let your right heel hit the ground. And what happens to the muscle that your hand's touching?
It tightens up a little.
I've just given you the secret to toning your ass. Start walking correctly.
So you want me to walk around with my hands on my ass?
It's not your hands on your butt that did it. It's the heel strike that did it. When I asked you to increase the heel strike, you felt an increase in glute contraction. Like deliberately let the heel hit the ground hard. That's where your butt's going to fire when your leg is out like that. That's its job, to help contract so that the rest of the body can transfer weight over the ankle.
Okay.
So it does this. It puts the heel down And it's not that the leg goes, let me come back like this. It's that this hits, and then the body starts transferring above it, using this as a dig into the ground to allow it to leverage itself over. So it's more like dig, shoom, almost like a catapult, right? It's catapulting the body over.
Are you saying when I could go downstairs on my Peloton, I should walk and just focus on my heel strikes?
You have the Peloton treadmill?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, but I'm also going to give you some exercises. The word is this: walk deliberately. Get a heel strike, get a toe off. Let your body feel like as your leg goes behind you, that your toe just drags off and pushes off a little bit. Don't just go, ho hum, I'm doing 45 minutes and the treadmill's moving underneath me.
Yeah. Here's what I can do. If I squat in these, I'm going all the way to the floor.
Well, let me see your squat without.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean,
Move back a little bit and face to your left. Yep.
Well, first of all, I need to disclaim that they get better as I warm up.
Okay, hold on. Who said squat, not talk?
Here, yeah, terrible.
Mamma mia. Okay, put the heels on.
Oh, mamma mia. Yeah, you picked some good ones, honey.
She did. She knows with pink high heels.
Pink power.
I haven't worn these since Date with Destiny.
Okay. Right there.
Ready?
Yep. Guys, look at the difference.
What?
Leveraging her ankle into what we call plantar flexion. Somebody would say to you, your dorsiflexion, where your toes being pulled up toward you, is limited. That's why this makes a difference. I'm a fan of you doing some of your work in the heels like this when you're at home because it actually gives your body a different load. I am not a fan as a substitute to not solving the problem to get the ankle to do something different in the first place.
Okay.
So you go. Get the win where you're going, hey, I'm more vertical. Your back will thank you for it.
Right.
Well, who doesn't look good in high heels?
Well, yeah, you always say that. Like, if a man tells you, baby, don't wear heels, he's lying to you.
Yeah, no, get rid of him. Get him out of your life. And listen, can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Why aren't your hands fully interlaced together?
Why are they not?
Yeah, because you had it.
Oh, I don't know. No reason.
Elbows back. Come on. What did that change?
Well, it engaged my shoulders.
What did it change about the movement? Better, worse, harder, easier?
It's harder
Come back up. Harder to do what?
to stay up.
Yeah, because what happens when you go to here, watch my arm. If my arm is here, if I'm here, there's a line across this. That's my humeral line, right? So there's straight across. There's up about 30, 40 degrees. But if I interlace my hands together, I get another 20, 30 degrees of movement of that arm. And every time I move this arm, the shoulder blade on my back has to rotate with it. And that has a relationship with the spine. That has a relationship with the lumbar spine. That has a relationship with the pelvis.
Okay.
Interlacing all the way together.
Does it matter the width of my feet?
You know, at this point, I usually say what? Fist width apart for our exercises, but when you're squatting, take it just outside your hips a little bit or in line with the outside of your hips. You can go a little wider, maybe double fist, something like that.
Why do my ankles crack?
Keep your elbows back. Elbows back, elbows back, elbows back. You see, your body wants so badly to round over your shoulders, which is why I give you such a hard time at events. So now take the shoes off and go back to the squat position. There's a difference. I have no idea because I don't really use this as a test, but tell me what that feels like now.
It's still terrible.
Keep going. See how much harder it is when you fully interlace your hands too?
Yeah.
That's the disconnect. That's why your trainer would say, you're just not a squatter.
Just not a squatter.
I refuse to believe that because I think there's always 20, 30, 40% you can gain when you correct the mechanics of what's going down.
Yeah. Okay. So
give me an
I need
exercise.
to walk deliberately and squat with heels on.
Give me an exercise that you do for abs. Like, what do you do for abs?
Most of the time I'm doing full sit-ups.
Okay, let me see.
I'm trying to figure out this camera.
Right there. Okay. Think of shoulder position. Think about what we talked about. Do we want a person here or do we want them back here? So let's say you kept these the same. No, you can let yourself round over to get down. Okay?
Uh-huh.
But let's change something. Go back on your back to just lie on your back with your knees bent. Interlace your hands behind your head all the way together. What you're not going to do is pull on the back of your head and pull your chin toward your chest. You're going to look up to where the ceiling meets the crown molding on the ceiling there, on the wall, and you're going to cross your right ankle over to your left ankle.
Oh.
There we go. So for those of you watching, this was an intelligence test, so she got a B-. Here we go.
I don't know my left from my right most days.
Hey, I wouldn't give anybody a hard time, but I've known you too long. Now, take your legs and put them straight up in front of you, straight up in the air. Yep. And now lock them out a little bit so the left leg is holding the weight of the right leg. And now, yes, that's the angle right there, slightly ahead of your hip. Instead of straight up and down, you drop them about 10 degrees forward. I love it. Now, give me 25 abdominal crunches in that position. So look up and back. You're only coming up an inch. Look back. Remember, no pressure on the back of your head. Come on, speed it up. Let's go. There. Elbows back. Perfect form. Elbows back. Look up. Let the abs pull you up. Let the left hip hold the right hip, which is firing some deep muscles in the front part of your hip, known as your hip flexors, which help you pelvic tilt and change the angle in your spine, which could make your squat without high heels better. Oh, no. Go back down. You got to switch legs.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Here we go. And for those of you watching, yeah, right there, good. Make sure the elbows and head hit the ground. And the abs are what's moving your head up, not pulling your neck forward. Okay, stand up. Now face that way again. Get into your squat position and just tell us what's different about the squat. We're looking for efficiency. You're looking for easier or harder.
It feels like it's a little lower.
It for sure is lower. Is it fixed? No.
No.
Where I want it to be? No. But I'm telling you, when you put in a little bit of work beforehand, and the way your mind works is the way a lot of your listeners work. I want to feel the work a little bit. I don't want to just lay there and do something like, lay on my back with both legs up over a block doing nothing. But I'm telling you guys, this position alone, just this position. Now remember,
I can demonstrate what you're about to draw.
That's correct. Get into it. Yep, that position alone. Okay, let me find that because it's authentic. It's like one of one. Okay, so rare. That position alone right there, palms up. You can spend any time of your sequestering in that position, it's an absolute game changer for someone who likes to work out and work hard and then get into this position and allow the body to release into it. You are literally making yourself thinner right now by allowing this to happen, because your body's in a position that it's aligning your shoulders to your pelvis and then your pelvis to your knee to your feet when you stand up, which means your lymphatic system works differently.
And what's the ideal amount of time to stay in this position?
I will be in that position, a version of that called the tower tonight, which is a lot longer, but I'll be in it for a full-length movie. And I have these glasses that allow me to watch a television that's right above your feet. If your television was right there on the wall above your feet, that's where the TV would be, because the mirrors and the glasses allow you to see it.
Oh, okay.
They were
So
in
they are 10 minutes before bed is not enough.
No. 5 minutes before bed is enough.
Okay.
Because it's 5 minutes you're not giving me now.
Right.
And honestly, guys, listen, the family who sequestered together, we're going to all find out, right, how strong our relationships are.
Yeah.
But I have the feeling people, because of the fear of the COVID-19, are actually finding home with their partners and kids is actually a good thing, because they've rallied the truth. This isn't stay home because I told you to. It's stay home because you have to. And we're coming together as one.
Right.
So I think you're going to find people are like, this is going to suck. There's going to be this. No, I think there's going to be more babies in 9 months.
If there is in our house, it's a miracle and somebody's in trouble.
Exactly. Somebody lied.
Somebody lied. What else is important for us to do?
That abdominal exercise, remember, you're not doing this. You're not going here to get it done.
Right.
You're not pulling yourself forward. And you know what I can do, Michelle? I'll put together a little menu of exercises.
Okay.
That I think would benefit you and your listeners, maybe 3 or 4. That'll be different than what we've done in UPWs and all that kind of stuff, because I know you're kind of all getting tired of the same stuff. But I'm telling you, the same stuff is, my son's going to go on a workout today, and he'll start out with arm circles, elbow curls, overhead extension, a squat, and then he'll do a 5-mile run. Why? Because I want his breathing capacity to be at its best. Because we have the highest point in San Diego right over here, and he runs up to the top of it.
That's awesome. Vinu has a question. Here's her question.
You have a question?
Vinu.
Yeah, sorry, I'm losing you. There's a breakup. I think I'm going through. I think I'm going to lose you.
You are?
No, I'm kidding you. I was trying to avoid Vinu's question.
You see it?
I see it.
How to get rid of my tight neck.
Okay. It always comes down to, it's almost a trick question. And I'm sorry. It's almost a question that should have been asked out of COVID-19, because now I've got to tie a massive stress complex around all symptoms. You've almost got to, thanks, Brian.
That's exactly how she said that.
Well, you know that. The stress that we're under can either life's happening for you or life's happening to you, right? That's your job. Mm-hmm. You guys as coaches, Vinu, everybody else that's on this call. My job is to know just enough of that to be dangerous to send them to you. It's like you guys knowing just enough about posture to introduce it and then send your customers to me.
Right.
You know, that's what we do. My job is to say the physical anchor is showing itself differently in her body right now. She's anchoring. Doesn't even know it. But I bet if her husband, very cool dude, goes up and palpates her trap muscle right here, it doesn't feel like mine. It feels like this. Great. Now you've told me that my traps are tight, but you didn't tell me how do I get rid of it. You get rid of it by doing simple things like we just did, laying on your back, which she and I have talked about before. But even that abdominal exercise where I can transfer the work into this area where your psoas muscle runs right up in this area, deep in this lumbar spine. So it's basically a muscle that runs from the leg through the pelvis and then right over top of the front of the pelvis and then shoots backward and becomes your primary mover. Let me show you a picture. If I can find a, oh, there's one that just happened to be on that page. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And because where it sits, let me see if I can find the side view picture. Oh, this is cool. Where it sits, look how important it is. It runs the same direction as the blood flow within the body. If you don't think that this muscle is a massive game changer, you're in the wrong business, meaning if there's a person in my business.
Here you go. Now she's going to piss you off even more.
I'm doing the crossover foot twist thing, but not helping. Yes. And she can answer this question. Vinu, when you cross the leg over and push the knee away, how much laxity is there in the joint? Meaning, how easy is it for you to open that hip up? Or is it barely moving? And we'll let her answer that. Because that will tell me a lot about what I think is going on. I'm going to verify.
You want me to do that so people know what you're talking about?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Or where's your daughter? She'll do the more active stuff. Okay, tilt it down so we can see the floor.
Is this whole thing?
Yep, lie down on your back, hands out to the side, palms flat. And now rotate over to your right, looking left. And now push your left knee away from you. Okay, that right there is laxity. You see how easy it is for you to open your hip?
Yeah.
Like the angle of your leg should be almost vertical and a little bit past it. You've gone about 20, 30 degrees past. Switch sides for me. Let's see if it's the same. Does it mean this exercise is not really helpful to you? Not really. I mean, I would still give it to you. But I could probably come up with some other substitutes that would tighten things down a little bit. Think about what you told me.
Good that I can push my leg that far?
It's not good. It's not good.
Oh. I'm thinking I'm winning. And I'm
I know. This isn't one of those things where you say, I can push my leg further than you can. No, that's not a good thing.
Okay. She asked a question. Can you see it?
Nope, I can't see it yet. I think it has to come up.
Okay. She said easy.
Oh, and she's not doing the push away.
Oh.
That's okay. The push away is the part of the exercise that brings strength into a stretch. So, for example, let's talk about that. If we're doing a runner stretch where somebody says, I got to see what you guys can see. Okay. So if my hips are here and
it's easy for her to do the push away too.
Yeah, I have the feeling it's she has the same kind of laxity as you do. There's some alternatives to that. I'll show you in a second. So okay. I have one foot right in front of the other like this, and it's about maybe 2 feet apart. So my right butt cheek is further back. It wants to go like this. Since that leg's back, it wants to be like that and rotate it. What I'm going to do, so back your left foot up. More. Now toe it in a little bit so your feet are dead straight. And you'll see you'll see that your left pelvis, your left, my right, wants to do this. Look at the wording on my hip. It wants to do this. It wants to kind of rotate with it. I'm going to close it up. I'm going to bring this right to here so the weight goes on the inside of both feet.
I feel like most of the weight is in my back foot.
That's okay. Get it even. And now lock your legs out, so tighten up your thighs. Now that just feels like a stretch, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your pelvis and do this motion. Go. Nope, I didn't say bend your arms, did I?
No.
You're going to try to tilt the front of your pelvis down so your butt comes up. Yes. Now that should have increased the pull behind your right leg. That's the strength component to wake up that psoas muscle and its friends to help me change the tension on the posterior chain. Keep the weight toward the inside of the foot.
Do you want me to switch?
Yeah. And look, you're going to get a lot of people who watch this later. The same thing with Tony. And I always tell this, especially to coaches and trainers and master trainers and whoever, senior leaders and all that kind of stuff. Forever, I've had a value add and a discount tied to my therapy with you guys. I've had a lot of people take me up on it. But right now, people have more time on their hands than they know what to do with. And I have a team just like your team. Other people's offices are closed. Egosgue is 100% open because of the digital.
Hold on, my 5-year-old wants his chair. Gee, you can.
Oh, have him take his chair.
He can take a chair. He's got a stool. He's good.
Ideally, doing these talks are very important to me because when this thing's over, we're not going to have to overcome inertia because of staying connected to people. I get it.
Yeah.
But helping people in a downtime is massively important.
Yeah.
So I got to put it out there. And you know me, I suck at sales because I don't like to. I like it when it's somebody else's idea to work with me, and then it's an easy discussion at that point. But
Yeah.
I have so much therapy going on digitally that when people are lost, get involved. Get a hold of me. DM me. Get a hold of you to get a hold of me because I'll make sure that me and my team, and I'll do it as much as possible if my availability is there. And right now, because my travel schedule, like yours, is non-existent, I've got the kind of freedom that I've actually filled with digital therapy and doing Skype, FaceTime, and Zooms with people where I actually feel like, am I actually less busy? I'm not really sure.
Oh, I'm more busy. I think the day goes by and I'm like, where the heck did the day go?
Yeah, there's no question about it. And we're not looking to get on planes and all that stuff. So we've understood how to connect with people. Yeah. But there's another level where people say, okay, I understand this is all great. How can it affect me? That's my job to be able to get this to change at that level, to give us the chance to work one-on-one, to allow us to coach you through this stuff, to give you the unfair advantage. So when this thing's over, it's an absolute game changer.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other questions out there. Is there any other exercise that you want to show, Brian?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a little menu. I will send it to you. It'll have 3 or 4 things in there that we talked about in here, you know, one that we didn't. People can do that. And at the same time, they'll look. I mean, you're going to have to share your email that you get from me that has the digital link. And then I'll get back to you with, you keep people accountable just like you're doing with the squat. Did you do those things? Did you do this? Now, how's your squat? You know, that kind of stuff. It has to change that way.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I feel like I have homework. Hey, Jason, do you have any questions? You've got him right here. I know you do.
Yeah, Jason's going like this. Brian, you've been nothing but a nightmare because she makes me do this shit and blah, blah, blah. It is an absolute game changer for people sequestered, hanging out. Look, for me and my kid, and you know that for him, he is 100% on Xbox for 8 to 12 hours a day sometimes, and I don't care because it's his community that he's connected with that he's actually missing out on if he doesn't have that opportunity. Then he gets to do the exercises on a day we're going to do a workout. That's our exchange.
Brian, I have a million questions for you, but I don't want to keep you here for 3 hours. So I'm glad Michelle is on her way to correcting her squat.
Yeah, he gets so upset about it.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question.
What's your question? Just think of one. He's right here.
If you could also send something for us, maybe a little bit more athletically inclined, like something your son does before he works out. I mean, I'm very, very interested in that, and like, you know, opening up my breathing and stuff like that would be
huge.
Would be fantastic to learn and huge. You know,
I'll tell you what. There's a
or if there's any, if you know an exercise, I mean, I can do one or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you this too. We'll go over something right now with you as the model, but I want to tell you this. If you can just get this to your listeners, it's email us at just email painfree@egosgue.com, PAINFREE@egosgue.com, and ask for the East-West breathing course. I had that on the Bulletproof conference before it was, or if they just go to this, go to Bulletproof Podcast 429, Mastering Positive Performance.
Whoa. Bulletproof Podcast 429.
Yeah, called Mastering Positive Performance. And at the end, there's I just asked you, this before we did these URLs and all this stuff, you could actually just email us and we'll send you, just say, I'd like to get the East-West breathing course. And then I can track it from Bulletproof either way, that way, because it's that's before I had one. Yeah, painfree@egosgue.com. We'll get you we'll get you the East-West breathing course. That way it'll give you a little bit of, which is important during this COVID-19 stuff, to get the diaphragm engaged and get your lung capacity to be able to be stronger, to be able to handle this kind of stuff. Because when it hits, you are going to have some lung, I won't call it scarring because everybody thinks that's permanent, but you're going to get some lung tissue that's been shut down like a fibrosis. And it's very important to teach yourself how to, like, do you know the test to see if you actually have a lung tissue problem? One of them is take a long, slow breath in as deep as you can go, hold it for 10 to 12 seconds. And if you can do that without coughing, without it creating other lung problems, then that's one of those things where you go, wow, okay, my lung tissue's working. So you could go hold for 10 seconds, and then it's an exercise to teach you how to breathe that actually helps your lung capacity. But it's also a test in the morning when you wake up. If I can't breathe and hold it in without coughing for 10 seconds, a 10-second hold, then you might want to go get your lungs checked out. I didn't make that up. That's a test that's out there for lung tissue, and that's not my job. My job is to give you a better thoracic upper back spine position to allow your lung tissue to bring more air into the deep lobes.
Melissa is sending you some pics for her TMJ.
We already talked about that in San Jose, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in San Jose.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of these things that TMJ, again, is a symptom based on head position, based on lack of hip balance.
Isn't that crazy that her jaw position has to do with her hips?
Not when you look at the spine itself and you see how much thicker the vertebrae are at the bottom and the tip of the whip is way up here doing this. This is stable when it's controlled by the hip. Otherwise, it becomes unstable. And then you get stuff like this, which is my Skype this morning with someone who said, can you help this? Which is spondylolisthesis, where you actually get a vertebrae that begins slipping on top of each other and then eventually creates a problem and breaks off. So you almost need a fusion.
So I want to give you like a laugh and a, oh, this was my, oh, and if there's anything that he should be doing as a result of this, we're going to call it a blooper. Stand by. So in the basement, he's created his own like workout gym. So this was interesting. Can you see that?
Bring it up a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, hold that. Hit the play button again. Or is it already playing?
There we go. Here, push. You got to look at it. Yep.
Okay.
Here it comes.
That's my blooper.
I love every bit of that.
Like you just got up and walked it off.
Number one is because I didn't fall, but number two, you were playing like a kid again. I love every bit of it. That's the kind of stuff. And hey, if you have to put a mattress on the ground because it may happen again, then do it. We've got to get us to a point where we don't think going to a gym and doing linear movement is what's going to do this. No. I love the idea of what's going on right now because people are having to come up with creative ways to work out themselves outside of Equinox. And I love Equinox, 24-hour fitness. And I love 24-hour fitness. They're great places. But you may miss the socialization part, but it's helping you socialize at home. So there's a multi-win here. You're starting to get creative and do crazy stuff like that. I just shot something this afternoon, which will be up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook with Dr. Sean Drake. He works with a bunch of golfers and tennis and football and, these kind of things. And basically we're in a position now where we're teaching people how to do some types of workouts on stairs and off of stairs using some simple equipment that's around their house. And that's one of the big things for me is I want you to realize you don't have to get a gym membership to solve this problem. You can do this outside of a gym membership.
I think a lot of people are getting really resourceful and creative, and it's, people are building muscles right now in lots of different ways that they've never had to even think about. Mental muscle, emotional muscle, breathing muscle, actual muscle, all of that. I mean, there's some really, really bad stuff happening to a lot of people, and my heart goes out to all those people working on the front line of this. So I'm running on my Peloton today and like in a sprint, and they're like, do this for the frontliners. And I was like, holy shit. And I just booked it.
That's exactly right. The psychology tied to what Peloton's doing and these home gyms and all that stuff, they're killing it right now. And you know what? I'm not even upset about it. I love the idea that what they're doing is they're finally realizing that I don't need external stimulus to excite myself. I can do this internally, but people have to start looking inside. And Egosgue, I'm telling you, is perfectly positioned as the physical anchor for all of this. Just ask Tony and Conor McGregor. You're no different. You're just not taking punches in the face. You're taking them financially. You're taking them metaphorically, but you're not taking them as a physical punch.
Right. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are having to figure out, like, there's a lot of so what, now what moments happening. And that's part of the reason I wanted to do this finally is, there's, so what, now what is a pivot, is an opportunity to realize there's something in your life that you've been tolerating that you can't tolerate anymore. And it's time to pivot and do something about it, which is the now what. Yeah. And so I'm trying to bring on people who are going to be able to give now what solutions and then hold people accountable to actually using them. Because we can dump solutions on people all day long. But if you're not going to do these exercises, if you're not going to meditate, Master Co was on Tony's show the other day. If you're not going to do all these things that all these people are so generously dumping out there, I mean, we're just trying to pour into people right now. If you guys aren't going to do it, it's not going to change your so what at all.
It isn't. And, we've got to get, Tony Robbins being, one of them. I was on the phone with him the other day and, he has 54, 55 companies. And, that's a lot of management that's going on right now because I'm worried about one company, right? He's worried about 54, 55. And I get it. This whole thing is creating all this kind of stuff, but where does he thrive? Oh, when he's hunkered down in winter, he thrives. He decides to thrive. That's where me personally, from a business owner, management, how am I talking to people? I am multiple meetings per week with my people because the more touches, the better.
Yeah.
And I'm not just giving them stuff like, here, I want you to do these 7 things and then come back to me after that phone call. No, I can give you a language discussion. But if you're going into language with, gee, I hope this phone call goes well. I hope I can convert this person. I hope they really like me. I hope they find value. Hang up the phone.
Yeah, don't even dial.
Hope is not a strategy. There's a huge hole in it, right? We got to start looking at this as, I believe it. I got up this morning, I ate metal, and I pooped bullets by noon. I'm ready to go. So we've got to get this thing going. And yes, there's scary stuff coming. I get it. The next 2 weeks, you hear it on Fox, CNN, MSDNC, all that stuff. You hear that kind of stuff. So you hear people say, it's going to be a tough 2 weeks. We just need to prep ourselves to be able to withstand what's going on. We'll get past this storm and then prep yourself business-wise to be ready. The companies that have not prepped themselves for this are going away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you so much for being here and dumping your amazing wisdom. And I'm glad you were fired up before this call because I think we got even more yumminess and juiciness. So guys, look up the Egosgue method. It's a game changer. And, you know, Brian has graciously offered to send us some stuff, and I will send it out. But yeah, just remember, like, life is a bunch of so what, now what moments. And I want you all to kind of pivot towards the now what right now. Take care of each other, love each other. And we will see you on Monday, where Vinu is going to be, no, Tuesday. Vinu is going to be here talking about how to handle your kiddos in this time with all this change for all of them. So you guys, thanks. Have a great night. And I love you all. Brian, stay on. Don't go anywhere.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All righty then.
Yep.